So if we scroll down on this CSS font page on W3 Schools, we'll find more information about setting the font size. And then as we continue to scroll down, we can see all the CSS font properties. So what have we done so far? We've done font family, font size, and font style. So here's a couple other ones that there weren't examples for: font variant and font weight. Now we skipped font here because what font does is it aggregates all of the individual properties that we would set with these, font family, font size, font style, and so on, into a single definition. If we clicked on this, you can see what this might look like. So just like we used properties here, we would use the property font and we'd set a series of values. So 15 pixels would be the size, and then Arial and sans serif would be the font family. In the second example, there's some additional properties: italic for font style, bold for font weight, which we're about to get to, and then the size and font family again. So with a couple of exceptions, we're not going to use these aggregate properties because even though they're shorter ultimately, that is, we can do something with one line of code that we would normally need 4 or 5 lines of code for, it's not as easy to read. And it also can result in some problems later on as we override certain styles. Okay, I'm going to hit the back button. So now again, we have 2 properties we haven't used yet. Font variant, it says it specifies whether or not a text should be displayed in a small caps font. That doesn't sound like what we need. And then font weight specifies the weight of a font. Let's take a look at that. So here's the example. Let's click the try it yourself so we can look at it in action. So first we have a normal paragraph, which is right here. And then we have a lighter font weight, which looks identical. Then we have font weight bold, which looks bold, and then font weight 900, which is also bold, about the same size. So now if we look over here, our heading is bold, but to me it looks like the text in our design is not bold. So let's see what happens if we set the font weight to normal. So again, I'm going to click on the value of the last property and hit tab to go to the next line. And we'll do font weight. Let's set it to normal. Okay, so that looks pretty close. I'm a little curious though, what would happen if we made it even thinner? So let's click on the value of font weight. And if we erase normal, we can see a list of options and we can kind of go through them and see how it changes the interface. So I'm just hitting the up and down arrow keys. So 100 seems to be the thinnest, and then it changes again at 400 and changes again at 600. So let's see, which looks closer, the 300 or the 500? Right now it seems like the 500 is right. So let's set it there, and we can always come back to this later if that's not quite right. Okay, I'm going to go back over to the font properties, and I think we've covered everything. So I'm going to hit the back button. Yep, I think we got everything here.